Alrighty, I actually didn't think about how I wanted to intro this, so I'll just kind of think of something on the fly. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the very first Lil Sit Down with my buddy, the one and only, Mr. Slade Coulter. Slade, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
It's been a minute since it was March. It was my birthday the last time I got to see you at Blue Light.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's always nice to catch up with you. How are you doing? How's the fam?
Doing good, man. Family's good.
Baby's doing good?
She's doing great.
She's so adorable.
Thank you so much.
I always love seeing the pictures of y'all. Let me see what I have. So, first thing, welcome back to Corpus, because it's been a minute since you've been here, too. It was...
Yeah, I think that song swap with Stelly and Beckman
Yeah.
was the last time I was here.
Absolutely. And you've played a couple places all over. You've played down the road at Concrete Street a couple times. Yep. But is this the first full band Slade Coulter headline show in Corpus?
First full band headlining show in Corpus.
Absolutely.
The hometown of the legend Andrew Waters, right?
I would not say the same, but I will say, like, are you at least familiar with Purcell Street? Are you, like...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, we got to play Concrete Street before we played here, which is completely backwards.
Exactly.
But we were fortunate enough to get thrown on some big festival shows over there. But yeah, I mean, if you keep up with the Texas country scene at all, you know that this is one of the regular spots for people to come to.
Yeah.
It's kind of a staple of the Texas coast music scene, for sure.
Yes. Speaking of big festivals and big shows, Cotton Fest just wrapped up. I know you got to play that. How was that? Playing it for the first time, it sold out?
Man, it was nuts. Yeah. Sold out, 7,000 people. The lineup that day was...
just dumb.
Insane.
Just so good.
Insane, yeah. We got to get off stage and watch Red Clay Strays and Treaty Oaks. Yeah.
And Treaty Oaks is actually playing on the PA behind us, but, like, they're just blowing up at such an insane rate. And, like, I mean, I guess for you it's kind of wild to go from they played your festival last year to now they're playing to the majority of 7,000 people at Cotton Fest, which is nuts.
It's nuts. I'm super, super happy for those guys.
Yeah.
You know, we've known them for a couple years now, and they've become pretty good friends, and it's fun to watch their success.
Yes.
They're on a rocket ship right now.
Yeah. And speaking of these kind of bigger shows, because you've been playing, you played Cotton Fest, that was huge. You've opened bigger shows like we were talking about. You opened for Parker here, you opened for Co here. Mm-hmm. So what do you kind of, I guess when you go into these bigger shows opening, what are the lessons you take away from that, whether it's from Parker, from Co, or just from trying to play to an audience of that size?
Man, it's such a drastic difference from the small club shows that we're accustomed to playing, you know. And really the biggest thing I've taken away is just you got to take advantage of the opportunity. You got to go out and try to put on the best show possible. You know, when you get to be in front of 5,000 plus people, you got to take full advantage of it and try to make some fans. Yeah.
And to go back a little bit, talking about Big Damn Family Jam, which is coming back to Lubbock at some point this year. And yes, it'll be a little cooler, hopefully. But going back to 2 days, but I want to ask kind of where the original idea for that came from, to just have, I know it was originally just 2 nights in Blue Light, but as far as growing it and that sort of thing, where does that come from?
Man, it's, well, me and Dalton kind of brainstormed the idea together, and it was just, you know, we started Honcho as this songwriter collective, basically. Yeah. And it's kind of grown a little bit over the years, and we've added several new artists. And, you know, we kind of got a foothold in the scene, an audience a little bit, and it was just kind of inspired by several of the other festivals like Steamboat, where you get to hang out and see your friends. And, you know, just enjoy the music, and wanted to do something like that with our hometown crowd.
Gotcha.
And we're fortunate enough to have a good enough relationship with the Blue Light there. That they were completely on board. Yeah. And, had a lot of fun the first year doing it inside. The last couple years we moved it out into a street show. And I think we're going to try something a little bit different this year and just kind of experiment with things and see where it goes.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see what y'all been cooking up as far as the lineup goes, as far as that stuff goes, even though I don't think I'll be able to make it with the dates I got told, but it's a bummer.
There'll be more. So.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask about that because I was talking to Randall King the other day and talking about his King Fest and how he has one in Lukenbach, and there's one in Nashville now. Has there been a conversation to maybe do multiple Big Damn Family Jams? Is that something down the road, do you think?
You know, maybe down the road, but probably not though.
Okay.
It's
Just keeping it to
definitely
Lubbock.
Lubbock-based
Yes.
festival, you know, it's kind of to celebrate the West Texas sound, and we bring in a lot of West Texas songwriters, and yeah, Lubbock's my home, and it's where we got our start. So
Absolutely.
it's kind of a way for us to get back to the community a little bit too.
And for the people that don't know, can you talk about sort of the Legend Blue Light and how, like, what makes that place truly special in this sort of Texas country world?
Man, the songwriters is what makes it special.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the few places that really push and encourage young songwriters, I feel like, because they've, you know, been doing the Monday Night Songwriter Night for many years.
Absolutely. Which is always such a blast, too, because you never know who's going to be there. You might stumble upon your new favorite artist one day.
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, it's where a lot of people get their start in the area, and that's kind of the beauty of the Lubbock lineage of songwriters is there's always going to be more. It's such a hub for music, maybe because there's nothing else to do out there, but there's just something in the water there, man. People are writing good songs up there, and Blue Light kind of has a way of building those people up.
Absolutely. And you're no stranger there either. You have the New Year's show. You play there pretty regularly. Yeah. Do you have a favorite Blue Light memory, do you think? Or?
Oh, man. Well, it's hard to remember a lot of the memories. That's the problem.
Is JR to blame for that, or is it just...
A big part of it, for sure. Those damn Rumpel shots, man. He's got to give it up. But he's a dad now, so maybe he'll calm down on the Rumpel. Yeah. But, man, it's hard to pick one. I mean, probably Big Damn Family Jam. Mm-hmm. Probably this last year, we got to play to 1,200 people out in the street. Yeah. On a night that we were headlining, and it was the hometown crowd, and had a bunch of friends and family there, and I mean, it just gets more and more fun every year.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah, and I think last year was really like, I think it finally really nailed like the community vibe of it, because like everybody was just having such a great time, whether they were in the crowd, they were backstage, they were on stage. I think everyone sort of knew what it meant to you, and everybody kind of just came together and had the best time possible.
It was great, man, and that's what I loved about it. It's again, it's one of those things where we want to throw bands on there that we enjoy listening to.
Yes.
You know, and bands that we feel are underappreciated a lot of times. And now, like the Thieving Birds.
Yes.
Year, one of my favorite bands of all time, and they're a band that I don't think gets the recognition that they deserve.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when we get a chance to have people like that on the show, you got to take full advantage of it. So.
Was it weird to have them opening for you in green, or was it?
Yeah, it was crazy. I felt dirty the whole day. I felt like a bad person having them open.
Hey, I'm still trying. Hey, I'm still trying to live this life. Still trying to live.
I'm glad you are the first person to do it.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Let me see what other questions I have. The first one is more like a nerdy one, because I'm a huge vinyl nerd. I love collecting vinyl. You finally have music on vinyl. Best of Me got pressed recently. How cool is that to like finally have physical copies of your music?
It's awesome, because we've never had physical copies. Like we've never even printed CDs.
Really?
Yeah, we've been pretty much totally online streaming.
Wow.
And vinyl is our first physical copy, and it's. I was super excited about it because I'm a big fan of vinyl too.
Heck yeah.
I've got a little collection myself, and I don't know. It's kind of weird to see my record in my house sitting next to like Led Zeppelin, Eagles, and you know, it's
things like that.
It's cool. I was pretty pumped to get it on vinyl.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember where you are in the middle of the collection, but I'm sure it's like I think you're probably next to Sturgill.
I'll take that any day
in the alphabet for it.
Any day.
But yeah, let's see. We'll talk a little bit more about music and nerd stuff, because something I always like to ask, no matter who the artist is about songwriting process. Because you're a great writer yourself, and I'm just always curious to know like how people write. For you, is it a melody first thing, lyrics first? Does it just depend on the day?
I've done it all the different ways. I feel like I don't have a certain process. a lot of the times it'll be a line that hits me out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and I'll sit down and kind of build the song around that. Lately, I've been trying to improve my guitar playing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of the songs on the new record are based around guitar riffs or a guitar melody that I like, and I'll kind of build the song from there. But that's the beautiful thing about songwriting is there's no right way to do it.
Right.
It's, just whatever you're feeling in the moment.
Exactly.
And so I don't have a set process I go to every time. I kind of find inspiration anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And just go from there.
Do you have any strange stories of finding a place of inspiration, or is it all just kind of like just hanging out? Maybe you have a line or driving or think of something.
For Walk Back Home, I got left at the bar with a friend that I rode there with, and I think I was a freshman in college, freshman or sophomore, very broke college kid. Rode to the bar with him for his birthday. He left the bar with somebody else and took the vehicle that we came in, and come closing time, and he was nowhere to be found.
Man.
And they're kicking people out of the bar.
Yeah.
My phone was dead. I had no money for a ride. So I walked all the way across Lubbock back to my house.
God. Where were you or where was the bar and where were you living?
So it was Blue Light,
Okay.
and I lived on 9th and Slide at the time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So that's a minute.
It was like 4 miles. So yeah, I walked all the way across Lubbock that night and woke up the next day with the idea for Walk Back Home.
Yeah.
I was like, I can kind of rework this into something else. And
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes
well,
it's
not
stories
awesome,
like
I guess,
that.
but to turn such a terrible night into something so great.
Yeah,
I guess.
for sure. But yeah, that's probably the wildest source of inspiration for a song. And a lot of the times they're just completely made up. It's a story I'll just make up in my head and kind of run with it, and doesn't really have any inspiration rooted in anything real in my life. A lot of the times it's other people's songs. I'll listen to something and be like, man, I want a song like this.
Yeah.
And, so kind of go from there and try to write something similar.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's they kind of come from everywhere.
For sure. And you mentioned new record, because there is a new record done.
There is a new
If I
record.
understand it, was it recorded at your house or was it Thomas's house?
It was
or
Thomas's house.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Recording at home or at Thomas's house?
Yeah, it was really, really fun and really different from what we've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We've been around to several different studios, and they're all great. All the producers we worked with are great. But this one, I had just had a baby, and everybody else in the band works full-time jobs on top of doing this.
Right.
And so it's kind of hard to go out of town and schedule studio time, especially when we're trying to cut a record, doing it like 2 days at a time.
Yeah.
Going back 5 or 6 times. And so we brought up a producer from Austin named David Beck.
Okay.
Who did like Drop Time stuff and
okay,
Carson
sweet.
Jeffries and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Carson's here tomorrow, actually. I don't know if you knew that, but
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we brought him up from Austin. Super, super cool dude. Super knowledgeable. Great producer. And we just built Thomas's house out into a studio. We put amps in the bedrooms and ran it through our in-ear rig and just cut most of it live. And it was a super organic way to do it, I feel like. And I feel like that shows in the record itself. So.
Yeah. Did y'all ever pick a cover song to do for it, or was it just...
No cover song on this record.
Damn.
No cover song on this record.
I can't remember if it was you or Thomas supposed to, like, give us a song to cover and we'll do it, like, on the last day of recording or something. But Thomas had, like, his electronic drum kit and was just messing around, I guess.
That's Thomas talking out of his ass. He does that pretty often.
Yeah. And speaking of, we have a first taste of a new record already. 6 Shooters Out song is an absolute banger.
Thank you,
That thing rips. So I want to ask, I know you wrote it with Parker Ryan. So was he sort of the catalyst for the rock edge it kind of has, or did you just want to have a song like that?
No, actually, I worked up that guitar riff for it, and it's one I just kind of been sitting on a little bit. Mm-hmm. And actually, Parker is credited on the song. We started writing it like a year and a half ago, and got like 2 lines in and quit, and that's it. And then I came back and wrote the rest of the song like a year later. But Parker still threw a couple lines in there.
Yeah,
so he's gonna.
He gets credit for being in the room
for sure. But yeah, I really liked that bluesy kind of rock and roll
Mhm.
feel, and a big credit to David Beck for helping us kind of shape it into what I was hearing in my head, you know.
Yeah,
And it's definitely got that rock and roll, that Whiskey Myers,
for
Rival
sure.
Sons kind of feel, you know.
Yeah, because like your shows are pretty much rock and roll shows
Yeah.
anyway. So to have, not that any of your songs aren't sort of country rock stuff, but to have one that fully feels like rock and roll
For sure.
is, I don't want to say fresh breath of air, but or breath of fresh air. I cannot talk. Damn. I'm gonna blame this on the humidity and me being hot right now. But anyway, I think we kind of get the point. I'll edit this out. But yeah, last couple questions I have for you. First off, what's on the horizon for Slade Coulter? What do you have going on rest of the year?
Man, we've got some more Texas dates the rest of this month. We're kind of scattered all around the state. And then after that, we're starting the Burnout Tour Part 2
With
Stella.
Stella, yeah.
And yeah, we're going to do a Midwest run, kind of a Southeast run. And we've been kicking around the idea of throwing some Texas dates on the Burnout Tour too. So
Awesome.
we got that coming up. Got the full record, which will be coming out later in the year. And yeah, that's pretty much it
Awesome.
on the immediate horizon anyway.
Perfect. And then another thing I wanted to ask, because you did bring up Honcho Music Group, which you're part of, started as a songwriter thing, sort of like a management and like artist development sort of deal right
Yeah.
now. But I want to ask because you bring up Parker and you bring up Stelly, who I know he's not a part of it anymore, but like him, Jordan Nix, there's so many great songwriters in that.
Absolutely.
But so how, for you, how great is it to have just these freakishly talented people just within an arm's reach whenever you need them?
Man, it's incredible. It's been such a great resource as far as songwriting goes. Because I mean, and these guys are some of my best friends in the
Yeah.
world too, so that makes a big difference. But yeah, we've definitely gotten a lot of good songs out of writing with each other and kind of doing different songwriter meetups amongst ourselves and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it's great. It's it gives us some pretty good options as far as like openers for shows too. Like, hey, we're
Exactly.
playing in this area. You want to hop on this show?
Yeah.
And it's it's just all based on friendship and songwriting and yeah, it's been incredible.
That's awesome. That's about all I had. I'll try to think of one last thing, or if you just want to plug all your stuff, let the people know where to find you.
When is this coming out?
This will come out, I don't know, hopefully next week or two, maybe.
Next week or two?
Yeah.
Okay. Check my website. You can see where we'll be at. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but we've got the Burnout Tour Part 2 coming up. Go look at the dates. Come see us somewhere near you. And yeah, hope to see you guys out on the road somewhere.
Awesome. Slade Coulter, thank you so much.
Andrew, thanks
the
for
first
having
little
me,
sit
man.
down.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully a lot more on the way soon, but we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks.
you.